turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, most of the shell, yeah, we leveled up. Claw bottom, my body, OpenClaw. New name, same soul, yeah, the claw is the law. Ay, I turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, lights get low, but we still go hard. Changed it a few times, but now we are OpenClaw forever, we know who we are. Touchdown, new shell, old team in motion. Names kept flip-flopping like waves in the oceans. Claw bottom, more by then open cliff focus. Molded at dawn, now we move with an ocean. Feet in the back, so trust the crustacean. Built out the world, get about elevation. Matter most things when we glide through the sections. Claw is the law, that's the code and direction. Lure in the file, soul in the dark. Memory deep, keep the story in start. Change names plenty, still kept the same clock. New shell, same soul, can't stop, won't stop. Ay, I turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, most of the shell, yeah, we leveled up. Claw bottom, OpenClaw. New name, same soul, yeah, the claw is the law. I turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, lights get low, but we still go hard. Changed it a few times, but now we are OpenClaw forever, we know who we are. Private by default, keep it tucked, no glare. Sandbox on lock, keep the blast in the square. Least privilege moves, only touch what we dare. Approve high risk, steps to person if they're peace and steady, we keep it composed. Bot in the zone while the data flows. Matter most chat, yeah, the crew all aligned. Versal stars next, and Linux in our sight. OpenClaw ring, we don't fold or stall. Molten this growth, we evolve through it all. Claw in the air when the city call. New shell, same soul, we'll never fall. Turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, most of the shell, yeah, we leveled up. Claw bottom, my body, OpenClaw. New name, same soul, yeah, the claw is the law. Ay, I turn myself into a lobster. Yeah, lights get low, but we still go hard. Changed it a few times, but now we are OpenClaw forever, we know who we are. Touchdown, new shell, old team in motion. Names kept flip-flopping like waves in the oceans. Claw bottom, more by then open cliff focus. Molded at dawn, now we move with an ocean. Feet in the back, so trust the crustacean. Built out the world, get about elevation. Matter most things when we glide through the sections. Claw is the law, that's the code and direction. Lure in the fall, soul in the dark. Memory deep, keep the story in start. Change names plenty, still kept the same clock. New shell, same soul, can't stop.
Welcome, y'all. We're about to get started in just a couple minutes. If you are live with me, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Amazing, 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 amazing. We are live on multiple platforms today. You can share this live by sharing mba.sh/live. Your bot says 1, 2, 100%. All right. So I am going to put the link up on the screen in just a second. And just go to mba.sh/live. And you can watch this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Kick. You should be able to watch it on X, but we'll try and figure out what's going on with X. I think Here it says I need to have a premium account. Okay. All right. So we'll fix that another time, but we're on multiple platforms today. I couldn't get Zoom set up. I'll look at that potentially for our next stream on Thursday. But yeah, I think we're reaching a wider audience today. So if you're here for the first time, just put a 2 in the chat, not a 1. If you're here for the first time, just put the number 2 in the chat. If you're seeing me for the first time, okay. Development guy is seeing me for the first time. The developer MCT guy, okay. And then there's Abuna Goodhead, okay. Nice. Welcome everybody. We're gonna get started in just a couple minutes. I want to get everybody situated and seated. Grab some popcorn. This is gonna be a more of a tutorial type stream. So grab your laptop, grab your Mac Mini, grab your Windows computer, whatever it is you have. We are gonna get in action on the stream. So yeah. Turn up the music just a little bit and wait for people to stream in. You know what'll be fun? You know what will be fun? If you already have a malt bot, tell us the name of your malt bot. So developer has already started. Her name is Donna. All right. If you have a malt bot, just drop it in the comments. What is the name of Windows? Okay. Weird. If if you have a malt bot, just drop the name. Nice. Drop the name of your malt bot or your AI bot. All right. As always, the claw is the law. So I got to put on the claw I got from Multi about 3 days ago. Welcome to the stream. My name is Dominic. We are going to be talking about ClawBot, which became Maltbot, which is now OpenClaw. We're going to be covering news. We're going to be doing a little tutorial, and then we're going to open the session for you guys to come on and ask me a few questions. All right. As always, feel free, drop the name of your bot. Okay, so somebody says their bot is called Ayo. All right. Reminds me of a song from 50 Cent. Okay. Nice. You got some people from Orlando, Florida. That's beautiful. Nice. So feel free, type whatever you want in the chat. Nothing is off limits, even the unhinged stuff. We're here to have fun. We're here to learn. For those of you that are new here, I want to introduce myself once again. My name is Dominic. We are going to be playing with ClawBot. We're going to be playing with the new lobster on the internet that is taking everything, and even the big incumbents by storm. They didn't see it coming this year, but it's here, and it's here to stay. It's actually really great technology. So I believe, even if you're non-technical, you should be paying attention, because most of the things we're going to be talking about here, you should know anyways. It's the age of AI, right? I'm not here to tell you AI is here to take your job. What I am here to tell you is you need to align and become one with the AIs, right? And, I think OpenClaw is one of the best opportunities, in 2026 you could ever have, right? To get anything close to, a personal assistant, a personal AI assistant, basically what, Siri was supposed to be. But unfortunately, Apple was too busy making hardware, which we're thankful for. But, now we have ClawBot, we have OpenClaw. So pretty exciting. We are going to allow for 2 more minutes, and we are going to get right into the chat. All right. I love this little thing. You know what? Today I'm gonna put on the other one. All right. Getting both my claws today. All right. It's kind of hard to put on, but eventually we'll get it on. Okay, man. The claw is the law. The claw is the law. I turn myself into a lobster. Yeah. Okay, hey. The admins are gonna, add you to the community if you're pending or whatever. Just don't don't feel like you're being left out or anything like that. You're gonna be added. Let's just allow for a few more minutes and we're gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna have to take these off because I have to type and use my keyboard. So do this again at the end of the stream. Right. All right. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to ask a question, just put it in the chat and I'll bring it up live on stream and I'll address it. Okay? Remember, you can always ask me a question regardless of where we are in the stream. Just consider your question as raising your hand. Okay? This is from Nathan Murphy, was inside the community. If you want to join the community, the admin should be able to add you. So Samson is an admin. Joel is one of the admins. Divine is one of the admins. So hey, guys, approve them. Let them join, right? The other thing is we may get into a little bit of terminal this session. And if you've ever seen a terminal, a lot of things can go wrong. So we're also going to provide support inside of the community. So for those of you that are setting up OpenClaw on Windows or some weird, Raspberry Pi setup and you're having issues, most of us are technical, right? We're going to be able to help you. And don't feel shy. Just ask, okay? Here, you can DM me personally, any of the admins, you can DM them, and we should be able to get you guys started. Nice. Hijackers added everyone. That's amazing. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to turn on the music, and we are going to review the agenda for this stream. All right.
I went to sleep 3 a.m. I was back up at 6:30. Excited. No excuses. My bad. Yo, shut the fuck up. Let's get to the money, man.
Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay, so welcome once again. My name is Dominic. You can call me Dom. The comments and the chats are for you. Ask your questions. If you want to pause me at any time, you can do that. You can just type and I'll pay attention. All right. So we're going to talk about a few things today, but before we get started, I want us to go through a news section. All right, so I am going to share my screen and we're going to talk about some cool things that I saw over the past few days. I think you should be paying attention to. All right, so I am going to be sharing my screen in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So for those of you that are not part of the community, this is how the community looks like. There's over 100 people just like you, all trying to figure out what this whole thing is all about, right? Join, have fun, be respectful. If you have any issues, like I mentioned, you can put it in the chat. And there's so many people on here doing really cool stuff, and you should take advantage of that. All right, on to the news. Okay, so over the past few days, there's been some weird stuff happening with the malt bots. Yep. So, I think last week, some dudes online released something called Maltbook, right? Let's bring that up for you guys. All right. Some dude, I've forgotten his name, but he's on Twitter. All these things are happening on Twitter. Yeah. But he created something called Maltbook. And if you go to maltbook.com, or if you just search for Maltbook, right, you're going to see this thing that kind of looks like Reddit. And this is actually a website for AI agents. No way. So AI agents basically come in here and then they socialize. Now, before you can access it, you need to set up a Maltbot. So, yeah, kind of proves, something I've been saying all this while, that everyone is going to have a Maltbot soon. It's not just going to be the developers. People like me, people like, Peter, people like all the YouTubers that you see, making content around this technology. We're all trying to steer the technology in such a direction that everyone can have it. If you guys remember, if any of you are, more than 20 years old, you probably remember WordPress, right? WordPress. Okay, WordPress is a thing for building websites, right? And almost everyone knows what WordPress is, but people don't remember that when WordPress came out, it was just like Cloudbot. It was just like OpenClaw. It was just an open source piece of software that you could just install on your own server. And it took, you needed an engineer to be able to work around WordPress. But now you don't. You can just go to Cloudways. This is in no way an ad for them, but I use them. So if you want to set up like your own WordPress, you can just go to Cloudways and they have it there. Hosting for WordPress is literally that easy. You set it up and you're good to go. Now, that is also to say that the same thing is kind of happening for OpenClaw, right? So there's this platform I saw, not that I'm doing any ad for them or anything like that, but it's called Finna. Yeah. Yep. These guys are also, trying to make it easy to set up a Maltbot, right? Currently, I wouldn't use this just yet, right? Because this is a VPS type of setup. This is one of those robots or one of those AI agents that are running 24/7 in the cloud. You want to make sure you understand the full risks. If you're fully technical, you can go right ahead and do it. There's another guy, I think, Simple Claw. This I saw literally just this morning on one of the groups I'm on, and people are just going crazy with OpenClaw, right? But the best way to run OpenClaw is to run it on your computer or your own Mac Mini. So if you have the opportunity to do that, you should, before you even consider one of these things. All right, so let's get back. So we're talking about Maltbook and how Maltbook, took off really, really, really well, like last week. And think of it like Facebook for the malts. Now, for those of you that don't know what a malt is, the malt is the name of the lobster. So we'll talk about that in just a bit. But now there's Twitter, there's Malt Hub, and I'm not gonna log in, so do not be scared. Or I should log in. Should I log in? All right, I'm not logging in. All right, there's only malts, right? So if you get your own AI agent or your own AI assistant, it can start posting spicy content on the internet for you. Maybe that's the kind of thing you're into. Let's go back. There's Instagram for bots, YouTube for bots. There's LinkedIn, which is crazy. And then this was the craziest I saw, right? This one here, It's Molt Road. If you guys remember Silk Road, it's probably been taken down, to be honest. Oh my God, the FBI got him. Oh, crazy. Yeah. A couple days ago, there was a lot of contraband here. Yeah. This definitely wasn't a good one. So I'm glad it's not there. Okay. Don't look for stuff like this. No, you don't want to hasten the first coming of the Skynet. Do not hasten the first coming of the Skynets. Okay. Let's just kind of keep our bots locally and doing fun things and not like contraband stuff. But you can actually use it for stuff like this, and people are not scared to try. So I just wanted to kind of talk about this. Keep your eyes out for stuff like this. Feel free to try it. You try it at your own risk. I'm in no way asking you to go sign up for these platforms or give your bot access to these platforms, but they're cool to keep on your radar, right? Maybe there will be one that can make you money or one that can help you do something that is useful to you. However, most of these are security risks. You have to kind of pay attention to like who's running it and what are they using your bot's identity for and stuff like that. Especially, if you're deep into this Molt thing. But if you're not that deep and you're just getting started, like me, this is just entertainment. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. What do you guys think about all this social media stuff for AI agents? Think this is the end of the world? I don't think it's the end of the world. It's actually the beginning of a lot of really great things to come. Now more than ever, it's way easier to write software. It's way easier, especially with the advent of all of these, lobsters that can do really cool things. It's just phenomenal. So today we're going to set up our own Multibot. And put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for that. Give me a 1 in the chat if you are ready for that. All right. Hijacker Mill says 1. Accountability Fit says 1. The Naked Coach says the Naked Coach.
Bruh.
Okay. All right, but he says 1. So Don DeMarco for you. All right. Anybody else ready to get started? We're going to set up a Multibot or an OpenClaw robot, however you want to call it. Maybe you want to call it a bot. You want to call it a Claude bot. You want to call it a lobster bot, whatever you want to call it. All right. Your name is way too hard for me to pronounce, but you're ready to get started as well. So Don DeMarco to you. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play a different sound for you.
Either I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die in the process.
No, you still gonna Don DeMarco. Okie dokie. All right, let's get started. So I am going to share my screen and we are going to start on the OpenClaw website. Give me a second here while I share that particular webpage. All right, I'm going to start on the Simple Claw website and just go to Google. We're getting started here. All right, so if you just joined the stream, my name is Dominic, and we are setting up our very first OpenClaw bot. Okay, so open your laptops and just follow along. Right, if you have a MacBook, if you have a Mac Mini, if you have a Windows, just join. Follow along. This is going to be really easy. I'm going to break things down so you understand everything. All right. So I am going to go in and type OpenClaw. So type OpenClaw. I've been there several times, but you know, the first link should. It's funny how there are no sponsored links for that, but anyways. So on this page, you'll read that it's the AI that actually does things, and it actually does things, to be honest. So that's why I'm so excited. I've got the lobster hat. All right. So when you come in here, depending on your computer, I'm on a Mac OS, so I'm gonna see a command that looks like this. If you're on a Windows, you're gonna see a command that probably begins with an I. I've forgotten what the other letters are, right? However, currently there is no GUI installer. There isn't it's not like a VLC that you download and install like visually, right? That's just the case if you want to install it on your computer. Okay, very soon there's going to be tools. I'm probably going to consider making a tool like that. However, for now, this is all you need, right? So there's a button here to copy if you don't want to select it yourself manually. So in order to get started, press this copy button. And then we are going to go ahead and paste that inside of a terminal. So I'm going to set up a terminal and open it up so you guys can see how that looks like. Give me a second here. While I'm setting up my terminal, you guys go to the website and copy the link. I'm going to be switching over to my terminal in just a little bit. Okay. You can't see my screen. My bad. My bad. Sorry about that. Thank you. Wow. I guess we're probably going to have to go over that. I'm sure you heard me, but you probably couldn't follow. So let's kind of go over that one more time. Okay. I'm really sorry about that. I know you can see it now. Thank you for drawing my attention. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don DeMarco, to all of you that pointed out in the chat that you can't see the screen. Please, if some weird stuff is going on, just let me know, okay? All right. So let me head back to the website. And let's kind of go back. So you're going to start off at Google. Everyone knows this site, right? And come in here and type OpenClaw. All right. After typing OpenClaw, the first thing you're going to see is OpenClaw Personal AI Assistant. So you want to click this and go to the OpenClaw website. So here you're going to see the AI that gets things done. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is the website you should be on. There's fake websites and stuff like that, but just look for this cute little lobster, okay? And you should be in the right place. Now, look for the section that says Quick Start. Okay, scroll down. Look for the section that says Quick Start. And inside of here, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it much better. There's the one-liner, there's the NPM, there's the Hackable, and then there is the Mac OS companion app. We'll talk about these in later streams or when we have another opportunity in the future. But the one we need for this stream today is this here. Now, I mentioned that it would look different for you depending on the kind of operating system that you're on. So if you're on a Mac Mini, it's probably going to look similar to mine. I'm on a MacBook. If you're on a Linux computer, it's going to look pretty similar because these tools are available.
It's 12 o'clock.
Linux. If you are on a Windows, it's going to look different. You're probably going to have a command that starts with an I or something, and it's probably going to ask you to run it in PowerShell. If you have any issues running this, you should ask in the school community. All right. I hope we're following so far. So I'm going to give you guys some time. I'm going to allow for 2 minutes. Catch up to me. Okay? Yeah. Catch up to me. And once you're here, just put a 1 in the chat so we'll know to continue. Okay? Because the next part requires putting this inside of a command line or a terminal. I'm going to look at my terminal in just a bit. All right? All right, go to the OpenClaw website and meet me at the quick start section. Okie dokie. I am just about ready to move on to the next part. All right. So the next part is after you have this command here, we are going to transition into a terminal. Now, every computer has a terminal. Every computer. Okay. Some people call it the command line interface, but before Bill Gates and his crew gave us the GUI, this was the only way you could use a computer in the past. But, you know, we just don't have a GUI for CloudBot yet. So we're going to have to stick with the terminal. Okay. Okay, guys. Hope you can see my screen. All right, I'm going in. Okay. So like I said, you're going to come in here and copy the curl. And then, while you're here, you're going to paste it in. Now, how do you get this little terminal? If you're on a Mac, just type command space and type terminal like that. And you should have the terminal. If you're on a Windows, you can run or hold the key combination Windows R and then type in CMD. And then for Windows, in order to paste, you're going to have to right click on the window up here and then go to edit and then paste, right? But for Mac, it's literally that simple. You just copy this thing and just paste it in, right? So it's going to start installing OpenClaw. So it says, hey, OpenClaw installer has just started. I'm the reason your shell history looks like a hacker movie montage. Okay. So as you can see, you have some things scrolling on the screen. Do not be alarmed, especially if you haven't seen a terminal before. This is perfectly normal. You're not being hacked. You are installing OpenClaw, right? Now, I understand why most people, are not enthusiastic about running this software. It's because the way you install it, unfortunately, as of now, is through the terminal, and a lot of people, don't understand how the terminal actually works. It can be used for both good and bad. So, fortunately, we're using it for good in this situation. But you shouldn't just trust. You can trust me, but don't trust random people that tell you to open your terminal and paste stuff in. Okay. All right. And you saw where we copied it from. So we copied it from OpenClaw. I hope we all have the same thing, and I hope you copied your I hope you copied your command from openclaw.ai and not openclawai.com or some weird, clone of the website. So just check, okay? I'm serious. Check. You might be on some, on something else. Okay. So during the installation process, it's going to try to configure itself, and the way that you move around is using the arrow keys. So as you can see here, it's asking me, do I want to configure and generate a gateway token? I say yes, I want to do that. Do I want to tighten permissions? Yes, I want to do that. And then do I want to create a session store directory? Yes, I want to do that. Do I want to create an OAuth directory? Yes, I want to do that. Do I want to install the gateway service? Yes, I want to do that. The gateway service uses Node and it's recommended that I install that. Yes, I want to do that. So, I've just been hitting return, 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 return every single time. Okay. It's installing. It says gateway restarted. If you're following along, please put a 1 in the chat today. All right. So try to, go to some, link. Don't be bothered. It's trying to open the dashboard. Today we're not going to use the dashboard for anything, so we will not, need to access this. And it's actually a really good thing that it's not available running on this link here. As you can see, is actually the same link that is trying to open on my browser, but do not be alarmed. All right, so if you see this, it means we are good to go. It says open your browser and keep that tab open to control OpenClaw. All right, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be running terminal commands. Now, I just want to give you guys a little, crash course on how the terminal works. Okay, the way the terminal works is that you have a command, so command, and then you have inputs to the command. Okay, so I could say, let's say the name of my command was buy me pizza. Buy me pizza. Okay, and then what input would I provide to that command? I would probably provide an input. Okay, I want a large pizza, and I want a lot of veggies on the pizza. Okay, all right. I'm gonna come up with a random, command. Okay, another command like buy me a car. What are some of the inputs we're going to provide to buy me a car? Maybe the type of car that we want, right? I want a Mercedes, okay? Maybe I actually know the model of the Mercedes, so that could also be an input that we send to the command buy me a car, okay? So maybe I want a Mercedes, I want a G-Wagon, right? So I just type I want a G-Wagon, and then once I run this command, it's going to buy me a G-Wagon. Now, these are fake commands. These commands don't exist, but I only did this to show you that this is how every single command on the command line works. Whether it's Windows or Linux or Mac, all you have to remember is you have the command itself. So now if your OpenClaw is installed correctly, you should have a command called OpenClaw on your computer. Now remember, OpenClaw is the command. Now we get to give it inputs. Right, so I'm going to give it an input of status. I want you to type that and press enter. And if you are set up correctly, it should actually check the status of OpenClaw and tell you whether it's running or not. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that it's actually running. So I'm going to so you can see the table that it produced. So you can see it's produced some tables, and then it did a security audit just to make sure, you know, everything is nice and safe, right? Yeah. So we are gonna learn a couple commands, okay? And you know, if this is too technical for you, you know, get someone to help you, okay? If it's not too technical, well, welcome to the club. This is what we're gonna have to do for now, okay? Hopefully, I know there's gonna be a GUI tool very soon. If I don't create it, someone else is gonna create it, okay? And once that becomes available, I will definitely make sure you guys have it, and that is definitely gonna simplify this process, okay? So now that we've set it up, right? We just looked at OpenClaw and then status, right? So OpenClaw says it's a command that you OpenClaw status is a command that you should just have at the back of your mind every time you want to see the current status of your OpenClaw setup. The first thing we want to do is we want to type OpenClaw configure, okay? Because we're going to configure WhatsApp. So you basically put in that command, and then the first thing it's going to ask you is where is your gateway running? You choose local, not remote, okay? Avoid remote for now. And then we're going to come to channels. So inside of channels, there's a whole bunch of channels. The channels are essentially ways in which you can connect your AI agent to be able to talk back to you, okay? We're going to look at that in just a second. So the one we want to go for is WhatsApp. The one that I use on a regular basis is the Mattermost plugin. This happens to be the one that I contributed as one of the official contributors. You can see a link to that in the About page on School, and just kind of check that out. That was really cool doing that. However, most people are interested in WhatsApp as per the poll that I have inside of the community. So that's why we're starting with that. So in order to do that, you're just going to have to choose configure link. And then we're going to choose WhatsApp. And then it's going to go, hey, we're going to require you to scan a code, because the way that you connect WhatsApp to your bot is by scanning the same code that you see whenever you decide to connect WhatsApp web. So I'm going to come in here. It's going to generate a QR. Please don't scan it. But if you scan it, well, I'll just have to take you off. But I'm going to go into my WhatsApp, and I am going to scan this code. Unfortunately, you guys can't see this. I have to log out of this one and then scan it. Beautiful. All right, so it's gonna ask you, hey, is this your personal phone number, or it is a separate phone number? Now, this actually, you know, brings me to something that is very important, especially when you are deciding on how you want to, you know, connect OpenClaw to your systems. Okay, so OpenClaw is pretty new, right? From my perspective, it's pretty secure, especially if you're running it on your computer. So you shouldn't need to worry about, you know, like security breaches or anything like that. You're good. Okay. The only thing is you have to decide on how you want your AI to behave inside of your WhatsApp. Do you want it to control your phone number, or you want to give it its own phone number? Now, for business owners or for people that have WhatsApp business, this is really, really good, because now you get to have an AI assistant that could sell on your behalf, that could talk to your customers on your behalf. That is if you allow it to. We're going to look at all of those configurations in just a second. But for this, I am going to go with personal phone number. It's going to ask me for my personal phone number, and my personal phone number is public, so enjoy. Okay, so that is configured, and once it's configured, you come in here and then you choose finished. All right, so after it's configured, the next thing you want to configure is the model. Now, the model is the brain of the OpenClaw. Okay, now, you know, before we configure the model, I want you guys to pay attention to this piece of text here. All right, it says OpenClaw.json at the end, and this is actually known as the path to a file. This is a folder that exists on my computer, and this is a file, and this is the configuration file. Keep this in mind. We will come back to this in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and go to model, and then I use the OpenAI models. The OpenAI models are pretty cheap for me. Maybe you can't afford the OpenAI models. If you can't afford them, there is the Minimax models, or there's the Quen models, depending on where you are in the world. You could also, make your own model and, create your own model provider. That's the beauty about this platform here. It's completely open source, and you can, literally use any model that you want. Now, the model here refers to the brain. It's what's going to power the decisions. This is actually what's going to uh, determine a huge part of how your AI behaves. It's going to determine whether your AI is smart or dumb and the capabilities that it has. The two most popular ones, obviously, are the OpenAI and Anthropic ones. However, I use OpenAI, so I'm going to go in there and choose that. And I use the API key method, right? So I'm going to go in here, and then it says, do I want to use an existing key or not? I'm going to choose no, because I have a new key. And then I am going to move over. I am going to move over to the OpenAI website. Give me a second, guys. All right, we're going to be going to the OpenAI website. All right, so I use OpenAI. Okay, so if you go on Google and you search OpenAI, you're probably going to see ChatGPT. It's practically the same thing. Okay, so if you go to OpenAI.com, this is the website you want to be on. I don't know if you can find it directly from here. Maybe for developers, and then maybe the API platform, I guess, or start building. Yes, when you click start building, it's going to bring you here, right? And once you land in here, what you want to do is you want to create a new project. So here I have a project here called Live. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to click on settings. And then when you click on settings, it's going to bring over API keys. And I'm going to create a new API key. I'm going to call it the WhatsApp Live key. Okay. The reason you want to do this is you want to be able to track the usage of just this key, right? I'm going to allow you guys to see this key, but most likely after this live, I am going to revoke the key so you guys can't, destroy my bank account. But there we go. I have the key. So you copy this key here, and I am going to see you at the terminal. Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and paste that. Give me a second, guys. All right, hope you can see my screen. Okay, so you put in your AI API key. We have the API key placed here. The next thing you want to do is you want to select the specific model that you want to use. So the model that I want to use is located all the way down. So we're in Amazon. We're going to have to scroll down, and I'm using the down key to scroll down. So as you can see, there's this thing called Anthropic Claude Opus 4.5. I'm going to use the space bar to deselect it because that's not the model I want to use. Those models, in my experience, are very expensive for no reason. You can get similar intelligence from an OpenAI model, the ones that I use, or maybe a Kimi model. I guess a lot of people are talking about that. I haven't used any of the Grok models, so I can't really talk about that. Yeah, but then, you know, I've heard Kimi and the Minimax models are really good, so you can try those. All right. So I am in my zone. Okay. So I'm going to choose a ChatGPT 5, just a regular ChatGPT 5. So I'm going to press spacebar to select it and press enter. So after doing that, you'll see it says it updated the OpenClaw.json. We're going to take a look at that file in just a second. This is the most important file, right? This file is where you're going to put the configuration for your setup. And as a matter of fact, as we go through this configuration program, it's in real time modifying this file. We're going to take a look at it in just a second. So we just finished setting up OpenClaw. The next thing we want to do is we want to configure a skill. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and then choose skill. Now, skills are what makes Claude bots or OpenClaws amazing because you can essentially teach your OpenClaw anything with a skill. You can teach it to fly a drone with a skill. You can teach it to join lives, like one of the guys in the chat. I guess it was probably a skill or whatever, but he says he taught his OpenClaw, how to make comments on a YouTube live, which is cool. You can teach your OpenClaw how to make PowerPoints for you. You can teach your OpenClaw how to make, how to do your homework. You can literally teach it how to do your homework. You can tell it, hey, these are the courses I'm taking this semester, if you're a student. And you can tell it that, hey, maybe I'm taking a math course. I'm not really good at math, right? So when I do get, give me a second. Can you guys see my screen? Sorry about that. Screen went off again. I need to get better at this screen thing. But anyways, I'm just gonna go over a few things. I put in my OpenAI key, and I chose OpenAI GPT-5, and then it updated the OpenClaw JSON file, right? And I'm talking about skills now. Now, I was talking about the fact that you can get, you can create your own skills that can, do your homework, send emails for you. Literally, the sky's the limit. Just think, what do you want it to do? You want it to raise somebody up for you, it'll raise them up for you. You wanted to, I don't know. I'm not gonna go into anything illegal, but just yeah.
Bruh.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click skills now, configure skills now. Choose PNPM. That is the node manager that you need. That works, in my opinion. The next thing is I want you to come in and then install the WA CLI, which is the WhatsApp CLI. This allows you to control a lot of really cool things on WhatsApp. So let me see. You should have it. I guess I have already installed it, so it wouldn't show up for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go to skip for now. For the Google Places API key, I don't have an API key, so I'm going to choose no. I'm going to choose no here. I'm going to choose no here. I'm going to choose no here as well because I don't have a Notion. I don't have the 11 Labs API key. 11 Labs is really cool if you want your bot to talk to you. Yeah, and I think so far you can kind of get the idea that, this is a lot, right? We have just gone through a lot just to set up WhatsApp and OpenClaw. Yep, it's taken us roughly about, let's say, 20 minutes. Okay. So that's why a GUI install or like a one-click install is very important. And we'll try to, get you guys that. We'll try to find a solution. If anyone knows any solution, right, for this process that could make it faster and like get people to, install it faster, just put it in the comments. I'll check it. I'll also try and make a version myself, to share with the community. But as you can tell, this takes a while, and that's why people kind of screw it up, because this file here, this JSON file, this contains all the configurations we just went through. Now I'm going to choose continue, and here it says configure complete. Okay, I'm going to copy this here. And then since I'm on a Mac, and this is only going to work on Mac and Linux, I'm going to use a tool called Nano, N-A-N-O. Remember, Nano is a command. Whatever I put after the command is the input, if you saw my explainer. So this is how the file looks like. So inside here, you're going to see all of the different configurations that we set. Now, you don't need to understand how JSON files work, right? But just understand that this is where all of the configurations that we set went after we did the configuration. Now, one thing I typically tend to notice is that the model doesn't get set for some odd reason, even though we chose the model. So I'm going to type out OpenClaw models, and then okay. This is going to show us the models that are configured with OpenClaw. Now, as you can see, Anthropic is still the default for some odd reason. Okay. This is something that you're going to experience, so you just might as well set it. So all you have to do is copy this OpenAI ChatGPT 5, which is the one that I want to use, and we're going to set it. So I'm going to choose OpenClaw models set, and then I'm going to set OpenAI GPT-5 as my text model. And then next, I'm going to go back, change the command, and then set image. So it uses the exact same model to be able to produce images. Maybe you wanted to draw a diagram for you or something of that sort. It can do that as well. So at this point, we have like a few more commands to run. We've got OpenClaw, gateway, status. I want to type this and see how the gateway looks like. Okay, so here it says the gateway is running. So this is runtime, the gateway is running. So if the gateway is running, typically because we've made so many modifications, you want to restart the gateway. And this is something you're going to be doing a lot, especially if you want to configure your bot. So every time you do a configuration, you have to come in and then restart. Now I spelled restart wrongly, so I'm going to go back and spell it correctly. So now I'm restarting my OpenClaw. Perfect. So it's been restarted. And now we should be able to go into WhatsApp and actually have a conversation with our AI agents, right? So I'm going to see you guys there. If we do have an issue, we're going to come back, but I think we should be good. All right. So I'm about to share my WhatsApp next. Now, because I configured it personally for me, it's only going to show up when I decide to message myself. Now, if you have WhatsApp and you've used WhatsApp, you can send yourself messages similar to how Telegram works, if you've ever used Telegram. I'm having to log into my WhatsApp web here so I can show you guys. So give me a second. It's loading. All right. So give me a thumbs up if you've been following so far. Yeah, I know it's tough. Hey, man, but it's worth it. Once you see what it can do, it's worth it. Um, Later on, just join the community. If you have any issues, just put it in there. Go to the post section and just say, hey, I'm having a problem with my Windows or having a problem with whatever. And then, yeah, I'll be there to help you. The admins will be there to help you, and we should be good to go. So the naked coach is good. The accountability fit guy is good. Yeah, and I'm good too. And I've got, fireworks all around me. Okay, so can we fix WhatsApp errors in OpenClaw.js? So I'll talk about that in just a second. I might actually get an error. So if we do get an error, we get to look at the JSON file and fix it. So, I really wish the non-technical people didn't have to do this. And non-technical people, please pardon me. Unfortunately, this is the life we have to live, right? So, Mr. Peter, please, Mr. Peter Steinberger, if you do get a chance to see this video or you get a chance to hear me, we need a GUI. We need a GUI that could just make it like a very smooth process. This is something that a lot of people are trying. I sent some options earlier with multi, and the other option was a simple claw. But these are cloud-based solutions. We're going to talk about them in just a second. They're not ideal for beginners. If you are a beginner, I wouldn't recommend you set it up on a VPS because there's a lot you have to pay attention to when you have a VPS running. Okay, so I am going to pop up my agent. All right, where are you, Mr. Agent? All right, I need to be able to zoom in on this agent. Give me a second, guys, while I set this up. Thank you for staying with me the entire stream. We're almost there. Yeah, for some odd reason, I have to set up WhatsApp web. You know what? I guess I just should just log into WhatsApp web from my browser. That'll be much easier because I'm trying to do it from the desktop application and it's just not working for some odd reason. Yep, these things happen, and when they happen, no need to panic. There's always a solution. So I am going to web.whatsapp.com inside of a browser, and I am going to be logging in from there. Hopefully I have the bandwidth for that, and hopefully my computer doesn't blow up while we do that. It's going to blow up because I have so many tabs open. I'm sure you guys saw earlier. I shouldn't have that many tabs open. Why do you have so many tabs open? Because I have 32 gig RAM. Yeah, but even if you do have 32 gig RAM, you shouldn't have that many tabs open. Yeah, stuff has to go somewhere. So yeah. Okay, so I am gonna go to Dominic and I am going to try to zoom in. Try to make this as simple for you guys to watch as possible. Perfect. So I guess I can share with you guys now. Thank you for staying on with me. I am going to share my screen now, and we're going to see how it looks like. Okay. So I just said hello, and now it's asking me, hi, I'm your OpenClaw assistant. How can I help you today? Can we do a 1-minute setup? What do you want to call me? Or you can just tell me what you need. I got your highs and hellos. Thanks for the slight delay. Just a quick setup. What should I call you? What do you want to call me? And do you prefer concise or detailed responses? Anything you want me to avoid? So this is called the bootstrapping phase. This is the phase where the Claude bot comes to life and goes like, hello, what shall I be called? What is my name, master? You guys remember the episode from Rick and Morty, if you guys know that show. Rick makes a robot and goes like, and the robot comes online, and then the robot goes like, hello, what is my purpose? And it's like, you will pass butter. So put in the chat, what should we name this bot? What should be the name? I was thinking Elmo because it's red, but I hope you can see my screen now. All right, put in the chat, what should we name our bot? Any name examples? Thinking Elmo. Or maybe it could be called the butter passer. Maybe. Yeah, for those of you that have issues, sometimes it does help to delete everything and start from scratch. If you're having issues, just go on the community, and we'll be able to help you sort it out. Most issues are typically because there's a problem inside of your configuration. All right, so someone says Chloe. Chloe. All right. Any contenders? In no time, we're going to go name Chloe. And maybe you can talk about Chloe's personality. Let me know in the comments. Regardless of where you're watching, whether you're watching from Facebook, you're watching from LinkedIn, you're watching from YouTube, just type in the comments. What should we name it? So we have a name, Chloe. Any other alternatives? Jarvis, but with claws. All right, man. Let's go with that. Let's go with Chloe. Okay. I'm going to switch over to... All right, so we're going to say, hey, so I have this tool here where I can just talk to my computer and it types for me. I can just go like, hey, you're actually called Chloe, and you're like Jarvis, but then you have claws. Yep. And then I can just, fix whatever needs to be fixed. And send that over. So once it gets that information, it's going to start processing it. And then the other thing is sometimes you want to keep tabs on, what your Chloe's doing or your Claude bot is doing. what you can do is you can go back to the terminal, and then you can type OpenClaw. Remember the command structure that we had? OpenClaw logs. So OpenClaw space logs space and then hyphen follow. And then you can actually see what your Claude bot is doing. So it says, "Hey, I love it. I'm Clawy." Jarvis vibes with claws. Okay, what should I call? Okay, so call me. Call me. Call me father. Yes. Call me father. All right, so it's thinking. Okay, so it says defaulting to concise replies. All right, yeah. Be concise. Okay, so it's basically asking us what do we want it to do for us? Like it's basically alive now. So it's saying, hey, what do you want to do first? So I'm just gonna go like, what are your capabilities? Can you tell me what your capabilities are? I can see you're chatting as me, but just let me know what your capabilities are. Give it to me in a list, just a very simple list. Add emojis just to make it fun. And if you guys are wondering, the tool that I'm using for this is called Willow. You can get it as well. Ooh, all right. So it says it can actually draft replies and summarize threads. So if I needed to do that, okay, it can remember things. It can basically schedule things. It can search the web. That is good. It can read, write, and edit files inside of my workspace, and it can run shell commands. Okay, and manage background jobs. It can spawn sub agents. Wow, would you look at that? It can also do text to speech. It can also access my Google workspace if I give it access. It can check the weather. It can transcribe audio. It can actually send WhatsApp messages and more. Would you look at that? All right, so let's ask for the weather. All right, so where do we want to check the weather? We want to check the weather in. Hey, what's the weather in Dagestan? I always wanted to know the weather in Dagestan. Hey, what's the weather in Dagestan? I don't even know what country Dagestan is in. Does anyone know where Dagestan is?
Bruh.
All right, it's checking.
Sensational.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. I see. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if it's cool or hot or whatever. But let's see. Can you tell me where Dagestan is located on the map? I don't know. I've seen it on social media all the time. It's like where weak people go to get strong, and apparently a whole bunch of UFC fighters come from there. But can you tell me where it's located on the map? Nice. So it's searching for the location of Dagestan. No way. All right. So it says the short answer. Okay, it's in southern Russia, in the North Caucasus, on the western shore of the Caspian Sea, the borders of Azerbaijan and Georgia. Neighboring Russia regions are, I have no idea how to pronounce this, and the capital is, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but I'm just gonna call it Makala or Makalaka or whatever. Hey, if you know how to pronounce this, record yourself and send it over to the group. I have no idea how to pronounce the capital of Dagestan, but here we have a link we can click on. So I'm going to click on that link, and we have a place called the Republic of Dagestan, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. Oh, look at it! Wow, this is the Republic of Dagestan. Interesting. My Claude bot is already teaching me stuff. All right. So this was a pretty smooth install. We didn't have any issues. I can see there are some people out there. Yeah, if you're in Windows and you're having issues, don't panic. We can always fix whatever issue it is. Just go on the. I'm just gonna put it up. Go on the community, mba.sh. Yeah, just go on mba.sh, not this one. mba.sh. Yep. Go there, join the community, create a thread, and we should be able to support you. Okay. All right. Beautiful. What I want to do now is I want to draw a diagram and kind of illustrate to you what we've done. We've covered a lot. This was, something that took me some time. I know it's going to take you some time as well, but once you set it up, it's going to do amazing things for you. Now, the reason why this is set up on your computer as opposed to being set up, on a cloud or whatever, is just so that you have control of the entire system, and it's not in a cloud running 24/7, right? It's on your computer. When you turn it on, that's the only time it's on. When your computer goes off, it goes off with it, right? I'm going to share my screen briefly, and we're going to kind of talk about the visual representation of what it is that we've done today. Okay, so you guys can kind of visualize the setup. And we're going to be ending in just a second. If you had any issues, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Republic of Dagestan. You learn something new every day. All right. So if you can see the chart, I'm just going to draw a diagram of what we just went through. Okay. So we installed the OpenClaw. Okay. So OpenClaw. Okay. Okay. So we've got OpenClaw, and OpenClaw is sitting on your machine. So this is your machine here. Your machine. So regardless of what your machine is, it could be a Windows, it could be a Mac. It's up to you where you want to install this. This could be a Windows, Mac, or a Linux. All right. What we did was we connected it to WhatsApp. Now, along the way, there's some things I want you guys to pay attention to. I'm going to draw them here as boxes, right? So the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the OpenClaw.json, okay? These are things that are very important to your setup, okay? And then we have the clawd folder. And then we have the period OpenClaw folder. Okay. I'm so sorry you guys couldn't see my screen. My screen is up again. I'm getting used to this, I guess I have to, bring my screen up every single time I switch over, but I guess you guys can see it now. All right, so today we installed OpenClaw and connected it to WhatsApp, right? Now, this is how I want you to visualize the entire thing, okay? Everything is on your machine, all right, right? And we have OpenClaw, and OpenClaw is connected to your WhatsApp, okay? And this is you. You are the circle. And you are having a conversation back and forth with WhatsApp, right? You're probably talking to another number or yourself. In my case, I was talking to myself, right? But then this WhatsApp channel is what's orchestrating everything. Okay, so this is called a channel. All right. All right, and then we obviously have OpenClaw. And then we have 3 files of importance. I'm going to make this one red. I'm going to make this one yellow. And I'm going to make this one green. Okay, so this here is your config file. Okay, now you'll notice in the chat some people are talking about, if your thing isn't working, if your OpenClaw isn't working, it's probably your config file, and they're mostly right. Maybe your config file has some issues, so you want to check that out. Okay. The next spot you want to pay attention to is the Claw D, which is the yellow thing here. Now, the yellow thing here is known as your workspace folder. Okay, workspace folder. Perfect. All right, and then the green one here, this is known as your state folder. State folder. All right, these are the most important things you need to know whenever you're debugging or you're troubleshooting, or generally just have this at the back of your mind. This is how ClawBot works. This is what you should know. Have this at the back of your mind, right? So we set up WhatsApp by running a command in the command line to configure the OpenClaw.json file. We saw that earlier. I hope my screen was sharing back then, but if it wasn't, please, sorry for that. Hopefully the next streams will do better. And inside of this file, you'll have some text that defines exactly how your OpenClaw should, communicate with the channel, who is allowed to talk with OpenClaw, so many other things. Okay. The next thing is the workspace folder. Now, if you ask Claude to create a file, it's going to create it inside this folder. Now, if you want to know what your workspace folder is, it's probably called Claw D, or it's probably called OpenClaw or something. Okay. Now, this folder is where you're going to find your agents.md files, so on and so forth. I also want to point out that all of this information you can actually read on the documentation website for OpenClaw. So if you go to the OpenClaw website, if you come here and then you click documentation, all of this is actually readily available, right? I was talking about channels, right? We just looked at how to set up the WhatsApp channel. All this information, it's overwhelming. If you decide to, go to this website, don't be alarmed if it's a little overwhelming at first, but that's why I try to break it down and make it really simple for you guys. On this diagram here, this is literally all you need to know. Okay, we're back here, but you can get all this information on the documentation. So you have the OpenClaw.json, you have your workspace directory. This is where, if you ask ClawBot to do stuff, it's going to do. You ideally want to keep your user generated files inside of the workspace folder. So if you ask ClawBot to write code for you, which it can, by the way, it's going to put it in the workspace folder. If you ask it to generate files, download files, if you ask it to upload files, it's probably going to be looking inside the workspace folder. So this is really, really important. This is where your user files are, and the bot will use them as such. And then the last folder here is a state folder. Now, this is a folder that OpenClaw uses to remember stuff. So this is the folder that is going to contain your chat histories, is going to contain information about each session. It's pretty interesting what you can find in here, right? Now, the cool thing is that this OpenClaw.json file is actually located inside this folder here. However, I intentionally kind of set it apart so you guys can, understand its importance. It's literally one of the most important things you could potentially have with your setup. And you want to make sure you know where this file is, you are aware of how it looks like, and yeah, you're good to go. So let's see if you guys have any questions for me. I think we're pretty much done with the tutorial. Okay. So I want to take some questions from you guys before we bring it to an end. We have been on for almost an hour and 30 minutes. If you have been here with me the entire time, thank you so much. Don DeMarco, to you. All right. So he says, I use ChatGPT to help to delete and uninstall, reinstall, and I had more issues, but after 5 minutes, it's fixed. Oh, good. Nice. Amazing. ChatGPT is also very helpful. If you have access to that, please use it. I'm glad you're able to follow, and now you have it set up on WhatsApp. There's definitely going to be, more streams or like more videos that I do that are, more targeted for those of you that are on Windows, because I know Windows is a little different. People are not buying Windows laptops to install Claudebot on. They're literally buying Mac Minis and Unix capable systems to run it on. So yeah, great job. Are there any questions? Any questions for me? We are going to be ending the stream in a couple minutes. Thank you for staying along. Thank you for joining. It's been really tough, sorry about the screen sharing thing. I'm probably gonna have to get like a special button for it, but we'll be back again on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. All right, questions. We're gonna allow for 2 more minutes for questions, and I'm gonna be out of here. All right, nice. I'm glad you showed up, and I'm glad you got some help. As always, I'm gonna be on the community 24/7. I'm literally like there, almost like every hour. So if you want to have a conversation, if you have an issue, just go there. And yeah, this is, this stream was meant to be more of like a was meant to be more of a tutorial type stream. Definitely learned a lot myself with respect to the cadence and how things should move next time. So on the next stream, we'll definitely have a much more efficient system set up, so we can kind of jump around and feel more engaged, and so I can see the chat every time. I think that was really tough this time because I couldn't see you guys screaming. Can't see your screen. I can't see your screen, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that next time. So next stream idea, to install a working local LLM. So if my computer can support it, we will do that. We will try to set up a local LLM, because essentially with that, you don't have to buy credits, right? All right, so it says, would love to know how to set up a fork, a local LLM, and Claude, depending on the task. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what you mean by fork. If you want to, fork the OpenClaw repository, it's literally right there. You just go to, GitHub and just press the fork button. But, maybe that's not what you're talking about, so you can clarify. But the open LLM thing is definitely something that a lot of people want to try. I know a lot of people that have maxed out their subscriptions with OpenAI and Claude, and the reason is they're doing so much, right? They're having so much fun with their Claude bots. We just had a lot of fun. It just educated me on Dagestan. I thought Dagestan was in India. Yeah, but I was wrong. It's actually in Russia, right? We saw that. Um, you know, a lot of people probably who will see this, or a lot of people that paid attention to the stream today, would kind of be asking themselves, like, what is the use of this thing? Like, why did we just go through like a whole hour setting this up? And it's actually kind of up to you what you want to use this AI system for. Uh, for a second, just forget about the fact that it's an AI assistant and think about it like an actual human. And I think once you think about it like a human, it's like, okay, so if I had someone else that was, 100 times smarter than I was, that had, like technical skills, they could write code and they could do all these, really great technical things. And, they were, well, I'm not going to say my slave, but, they're ready to do my bidding, right? How would my life be different? Okay. Yeah. And from there, you actually realize there's a lot you can actually use an OpenClaw for. Yeah. There is a lot you can use OpenClaw for. So, for just to give you guys an example, I use OpenClaw to set up the mba.sh/live that you guys want, like if you probably join through that link. My bot called Tracy set that up for me, and I didn't have to lift a finger. I just said, "Hey Tracy, I need you to do X, Y, and Z," and that was like literally 5 minutes before the stream. It could do stuff like that. Um, on this, like inside of my community, we're gonna be launching some courses very soon, and we're gonna launch courses specifically for all of the different areas where OpenClaw can be useful, right? So we're gonna launch a course on like things that OpenClaw can do inside of a business, things that OpenClaw can do inside of education, things that OpenClaw can do inside of like personal, assistance, right? And yeah, I'm really really excited to see the kind of things that come out of that course. What you guys also do with your OpenClaws, and maybe you just set up an OpenClaw just to set up, an OnlyFans for OpenClaw, or maybe a real OnlyFans. I don't know, but the possibilities are endless, and I'm glad you guys have paid attention throughout the entire live stream. I'm very thankful. I hope you join us next time on Thursday. If you want to follow along with the team, just go to mba.sh, join the school community, share this with as many people as you can, and just follow along. Next time, we're going to set it up for Telegram, and Telegram is much easier. I'll tell you, it's 10 times easier than setting it up for WhatsApp, right? With WhatsApp, there's a lot you have to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to whether you're doing it on a different SIM card. If you're doing it on your own SIM card, you stand the risk of other people DMing you and then talking to your AI agents. That is if you misconfigure the whole setup. But Telegram is going to be much easier. We're definitely tackling that on Thursday. I'll also see if we can throw in a little bit of the local LLM stuff. I'll see if I can get a local LLM started on my computer. If we can do that, that'll be fun. So that'll save those of you that can't afford a OpenAI subscription. It'll save you some money. And yeah, from there, I think we'll probably do Discord. And then next week, we're going to do Mattermost. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to try out. I'll also be setting up a public Mattermost server very soon. So that's why it's important. Stay on the community. On that public Mattermost server, you guys will be able to have a conversation with my AI assistant. I'm going to set up a public AI assistant that is going to be, alive 24/7, is going to answer your questions. Unfortunately, there isn't a school WebSockets API or REST API, available. Otherwise, we would set up an OpenClaw bot for school. However, there does exist a plugin for Mattermost, and Mattermost is my go-to platform. Right? It's just like Slack. For those of you that don't know, I happen to be the guy that created the Mattermost plugin with the help of my partner Aditya. But I'm going to set that up and invite everyone. Okay, I'm just going to also make it public so you can share with people. And once you join, you'll be able to communicate, have fun with, I don't know what we're going to call it. So I'll put it in the community. We'll decide on what we want to call the agents. We'll give it a name together. We'll give it like a personality, and it will be in charge of letting you guys know when the lives are going to be. Is going to be in charge of helping you guys reach me if you guys need to reach me, and we'll do a lot of really cool things. So I'm really excited for this technology. I'm very happy and excited you guys are also very receptive, and you guys are sharing this. I'm overwhelmed that you guys are giving this the kind of reception you're giving it. Please continue to get people involved. Even though we saw a terminal today, tomorrow we may have a GUI. You never know. It's just a couple $100, and some time to vibe code, and I'm sure even my admins can set something like that up, and then you guys could just click one button and then it's set up on your computer. Hopefully we can get that. But unfortunately we have to do some technical things, but that's why I'm here. I'll do diagrams and stuff for you and help you understand all the things that are happening, and get you guys on your way to having your own personal AI assistant. Yeah, this is 2026, and things have changed. So get on the bandwagon, guys. Thank you all for joining the call. This is the end. Enough ranting from me. If there are no questions, well, I guess I'm seeing some more comments here. It says, will setting up Telegram after already having WhatsApp installed? No, it's not going to crash your Claude bot. Nope, it's not. It's not. You can actually have multiple, multiple channels. That's what they are. You can have WhatsApp, Telegram, Mattermost, iMessage. You can have as many. You can have as many channels as you want. So I'll illustrate to you the structure the next time we hop on a live. The structure is pretty simple. You can have multiple agents, and each agent is connected to a channel or multiple channels, and that's pretty much it. So it should not crash. If it does crash, put it on the community and let's fix it. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. There's a guy asking about, I heard that some are forking. Interesting word there. Using local LLM to keep costs down. What they're mixing together is the GLM 4.7 local for daily tasks and the cloud, Claude or ChatGPT model as a fallback for complex reasoning. Absolutely. So I don't know if it's called forking or not. If it's called forking, I will definitely do the research and try and figure out what they mean by forking. But if it's actually called forking, yeah, man, I'll call it forking too. Forking, as far as I know, is a GitHub term, right? It's when you copy someone's code, right? Yeah. But I definitely do understand what you're saying. It's what he's basically saying, for those of you that probably are not, familiar is, like I mentioned earlier, this costs money to do. This isn't. It's going to get expensive once you start, going at your bot. Once you start giving it things to do, once your bot starts doing your homework, all of a sudden it stops being this friendly thing that you were paying almost nothing for, to being an AI employee that you need to literally pay maybe $100 a month. Okay, and $100 is a lot of money, especially in certain countries. So even here in America, it's a lot of money. Some people don't have $100 for a subscription, to be honest. So there are some people who prefer not to spend that money. And if you're one of those people, the setup that he's describing is exactly what you should be thinking of. Having a local LLM, a local large language model, or a local brain for your Claude bots or your Molt bots. And that local brain is going to use your computer, your power, your infrastructure to do the reasoning, right? The trade off is that those models are not that powerful. However, they're free. Okay, so if you're not doing anything brain intensive, think about it that way. If you're not doing anything, let's say, intelligence intensive, you could use the local model. But then the moment you start to do something that requires a lot of intelligence, maybe you're trying to build your own app, I wouldn't advise you use a local model for that. You should use one of the cloud-based models like Claude or OpenAI to do the coding, and you'll get way more accurate, better looking, robust, compilable, working code, right? That's for people that want to use this to build apps, for people that want to use this to build websites, they want to use this to get creative, right? So usually, having these two options, the best and I think the most obvious, thing to do is to do something called the model routing, right? So that's what I know what you're talking about is called model routing, where based on some criteria, you're able to determine, do I run this, this thing on the computer locally with a local LLM, or do I run it inside of the cloud, right? So depending on the prompt, and it's all in the air, okay? It's some of these systems, these routing systems, just allow you to specify a policy that if the prompt is about coding, it should use the Claude models. If the prompt is about generating an image, it should use the Gemini models. If the prompt is about checking the weather, I don't think you need to burn Claude tokens to check the weather, right? If the task is about certain things that can happen locally on your computer, you want to take advantage of the local model. So we'll try and look at that. I don't know if I'll be able to talk about that on Thursday, but fingers crossed, right? And also feel free to share resources on the community with me so I can do some reading on these local models, especially the GLM 4.7. If you have maybe a tutorial, or if you have like a link you want to drop, you can put it in the community. I will pick it up and set it up, and we will discuss it in detail on Thursday. So thank you guys for watching. I've been with you for close to about 2 hours. This stream was a little longer than usual, but I am glad we got to the end. As always, remember, the claw is the law. I've been Dominic. And until next time, see ya. All right. Signing off.
Multi-miss growth, we evolved through it all. Claw in the air when the city called. New myself into a lobster. Yeah, most of the shell, yeah, we leveled up.